Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Here she goes. Great ass! And you got your head all the way up it. Say hello to my little friend.
Hoo-ah! Oh, yeah.
I'm the hand of Mona Lisa's skirt. I'm a surprise, Kevin. They don't see me coming.
If you prick us, do we not bleed? If you tickle us, do we not laugh? If you poison us, do we not die? And if you wrong us, shall we not revenge?
Hey everyone, and welcome back to my Al Pacino retrospective review series. This is episode 8 of season 3. I'm your host Jeff, 11 Bronson as usual, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2004 William Shakespeare adaptation, The Merchant of Venice, directed by Michael Radford. Starring, of course, the legend that is Al Pacino alongside Jeremy Irons, Joseph Fiennes, and Lynn Collins, among others. Yes, another Shakespeare project for Pacino. After 1996's Looking for Richard, which we covered, of course, in the last season. However, whereas that project was helmed by Pacino himself, because he directed that was really his baby. This, of course, he just appears in this one as an actor, you know, as a hired hand, so to speak. But his passion for Shakespeare definitely shines through, that's for sure. This probably won't be the last time we'll be discussing the work of Shakespeare either, because as of right now, Pacino has, I think, filmed, or finished filming, I should say, a adaptation of Shakespeare's King Lear. So that's about to come out, I guess, within the next year or so, I guess, because it's in post-production according to IMDb. We all know Shakespeare, you know, though a showcase, you know, though it is a showcase for actors, obviously showing their acting chops and stuff, it is really an actor's piece, as any piece of Shakespeare. You know, actors love Shakespeare. It is not necessarily the most commercial film for the masses, you know, for the mass audience. Is this film an exception, or did this one, well, just like a lot of Shakespeare adaptations, not really do much of an impact on the box office and on the reviews and stuff? Well, that's what we're here to find out. So without any further ado, let's take a look at Merchant of Venice from 2004. Here we go. The plot of the movie goes as follows. In 1596, in the liberal Venice, Pacino, played by Joseph Fiennes, asks for a large amount to his friend, the merchant Antonio, played by Jeremy Irons, to travel to Belmont and propose to the gorgeous Portia, played by Lynn Collins. Antonio has invested all of his money in his ships and borrows from the Jewish Shylock, played by Al Pacino, against whose people there is a great intolerance in Venice. Shylock proposes an unusual bond. If Antonio does not pay the money without any interest 3 months later, he might receive 1 pound of his flesh instead at his choice. When Shylock's daughter Jessica, played by Zuleika Robinson, runs away from home with all of his monies and jewels, he becomes furious. Meanwhile, the load of Antonio sinks with 3 different vessels and he is not able to pay his debts with Shylock, and the Jew goes to court of Venice, claiming the execution of his deal. In spite of many requests, his tough heart does not accept any other arrangement further than the one established in their contract. It's a well-made film with solid performances across the board. It's not one of my most watched Pacino films, but his performance is definitely on point here as Shylock, who, despite being described as the villain of the piece, I feel there's more than enough humanity to his character, and I actually don't personally regard him as the villain, to be fair, and actually was rooting for him more than the other characters. I don't know if it's Pacino's performance either, but even in this film, he never really does any villainous actions or such. So it was kind of confusing to me as to who I was supposed to be rooting for. I've never seen this play being performed live, and I don't know if it's a 1-to-1 adaptation, so I can't really say if this is a fault of the film or the original piece. But yeah, people saying Shylock is supposed to be the villain is just something I don't share, and I don't agree with. The performance by Pacino is fantastic. The character truly comes across like a tragic figure. The famous "Have not a Jew eyes" speech is wonderfully performed by the legend and is definitely a highlight in this film, as is his final scene, which I won't delve into too much to avoid spoilers. But sufficing to say, the acting is 100% on point here for sure. Another top performance from Pacino, and it's easy to see he absolutely loves and is comfortable 100% with Shakespeare material. Jeremy Irons delivers a more than solid performance as well as the titular Merchant of Venice Antonio. In my opinion and my takeaway, he's actually more the villain for me than Shylock is. His introduction in the film is literally him spitting in Shylock's face, and unprovoked as well. Yet I'm supposed to care for this guy? Yeah, right. It doesn't help either that I've seen Irons play so many villains in his career. More often than not, he's always the villain. Not faulting his performance here, though, it's absolutely clear to see that he's more than at home with Shakespeare material as well and delivers a great performance. Even if the character didn't work for me as someone to root for, to be fair. Let me know if that's the way it is in the original play and whether or not intended. I'd be very much interested to hear other people's takes on this particular project and this character and this play, and I don't know, I'd just love to hear from you guys. Joseph Fiennes does a credible job too as the character Pacino. I haven't seen Fiennes in all too much beyond this one, to be fair. More familiar with Ray Fiennes, who, much to no surprise, I've come to find out is his brother. Again, another character we're supposed to sympathise with, and he does fare a bit better than the Antonio character, but again, the person I really ended up caring and sympathising with was Shylock. Good performance though, that I definitely can't fault. Lynn Collins as Portia delivers as well, and this character I definitely found to be very, very interesting. The only flaw is how the hell did no one recognize the fact that she poses as a male lawyer during the big courtroom proceedings, while clearly having the voice and frame of a woman. I found it very hard to suspend disbelief there for sure. Other than that though, a fine performance, and not a bad sight to look at either, I must confess, as Lynn Collins. Great job. The film is very well directed by Michael Radford and has a good pace to it. It's 2 hours long and in the Shakespearean language, so to speak. I didn't find myself bored with the piece and I was drawn in by the performances. The movie, made on an estimated budget of about $30 million, ended up making only about $21 million worldwide though, which isn't too bad a profit considering most audiences won't go out of their way to see a film like this. Over on Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds both a 72% critics and audience score, and over on IMDb it sits at a 7.0 rating at the time of doing this review. So the general consensus amongst people that did see it is that it's a pretty damn good film, and I do agree. I definitely recommend this film even if you don't care too much about Shakespeare. The performances by Pacino, Irons, Fiennes and also Lynn Collins definitely make it a worthwhile experience to watch at least once, I'd say. 6.5 stars out of 10 is my own personal final rating on it, and I can see it even go up to a 7 as well, to be fair, considering the fine acting performances on display. Recommend for sure, and that's that. So there you guys have it. That was my review for The Merchant of Venice from 2004. Like I said, I mean, I like it. I like all the performances in it and stuff. I like the material. However, again, I can see that it doesn't have the mass appeal, you know, for the mass audiences. I mean, obviously it is Shakespeare. I mean, again, I'm glad that my my DVD is the Dutch DVD and it has Dutch subtitles, because even though, of course, if you can hear me, you know, I speak English and stuff and I understand English, but Shakespearean English is still a little tricky for a Dutch person like myself. I mean, no, it's very well made. It's well acted. It's you know, the setting is great. I mean, they took great advantage of Venice, which still, you know, Venice still looks pretty. You know, Venice doesn't really have modern architecture. Venice still looks like Venice, like, you know, from many decades ago, many centuries ago, really. Venice has always kind of remained one of those cities that just is what it is, isn't it? So it's, I mean, I love it. I love the setting, and they absolutely had no qualms with nudity as well, because apparently in this particular setting, which this film is, you know, taking place in, if you were a female prostitute, you would have to walk around with your boobs open, and we see that quite a bit in this film. There's within the first few minutes, there's boobage alert, you know. So definitely not a film for the prudish people. It is what it is. It captures the time period in which it is set. It captures the attitudes towards, of course, you know, Jewish people like they were back then and stuff, all that stuff. It's just presented, you know, straight up, you know, without any, you know, no pussyfooting around. Let's say, no sugarcoating. But again, it is, you know, the film. I'm kind of wondering, like, where should my sympathies lie? I mean, is it obvious that they should lie with Shylock, or is it more like that's what I'm reading? Because I honestly don't know. Maybe from my interpretation, it's like, well, okay, well, the amount of stuff that this guy goes through, you know, Shylock, you know, he's first up, you know, we are introduced to him and the Jeremy Irons character. He just simply says hello to Jeremy Irons character, pretty much, and Jeremy Irons spits in his face. I'm like, yeah, this guy's the villain, not the guy that spit in the guy's face for no reason. Yeah, no, Shylock is the villain according to people, but yeah, I don't really feel that Shylock was much of a villain, as more of a tragic character, I guess. But maybe that's the intent. I really have no idea. Again, I would love to hear from people that are more well versed, let's say, in Shakespeare than as opposed to me. Because yeah, I just ended up really rooting for Shylock. And I ended up pretty much hating the what are supposed to be the protagonists, the good guys, so to speak. I mean, Len Collins did a good job as Portia. I mean, again, nobody would ever fucking buy her as a man, though. Come on, like she has a fake like goatee, beard on, whatever. She kind of has baggy clothes on to conceal her chest, right? Because that's a big difference between women and men is boobage, right? But there's no way that she doesn't do any attempt to conceal her feminine voice. Like there's no way that they would be like, yeah, this looks like a guy. Oh, he sounds like a girl, but no, he must be a guy because, well, he has facial hair. No. It doesn't work that way, and I wouldn't buy 1 second of her pretending to be a male, I guess, sort of lawyer-esque or lawyer-ish guy, whatever she's supposed to be. I wouldn't buy it for a second, and I'm pretty damn sure that people in that day and age wouldn't buy it for a second either. Definitely wasn't the case back then, I can tell you that. And even, a woman dressing up as a man would be, at that time, heavily frowned upon and would be like, no, what we are trying to. I didn't buy it. I really had to suspend disbelief for that part. But other than that, it's a good performance. I do like Jeremy Irons, even though again I ended up fucking hating him because yeah, he's he's the bad guy in my opinion. Again, Joseph Fiennes. I mean, the performance was okay, but the character I didn't really. I know it wasn't really the most fleshed out character, I guess, or not really the most memorable performance. Again, I much prefer Ray Fiennes, his brother. But anyway, all in all, it's a good film. Like I said, 6.5 is my rating on it. I do recommend it, even if you're not into Shakespeare, because there are some really good performances. And it's very well directed by Michael Radford. And though the film is close to 2 hours or 2 hours-ish, it doesn't feel that long-winded and stuff. It really moves at a good pace and stuff. And overall, I recommend it. Next week, though, we are going to be taking a look at a different film. It's the 2005 drama thriller kind of biopic, as it is inspired by true events. But next week, we are going to be taking a look at Pacino in another sort of teacher role to a young apprentice, because, similar to Devil's Advocate and Donnie Brasco, where it's Pacino, versus a young hot star. Now he's teaming up with Matthew McConaughey in 2005's Two for the Money, also with Rene Russo in this one as well, and Armand Asante, which I'm looking forward to this one. This is a bit underrated, this one. I've always quite enjoyed that film. It's not the greatest, but again, we'll get into that next week. So yeah, like I said, it's very similar to a lot of films. Pacino really had that phase where he was teamed up with a much younger actor, like, Devil's Advocate with Keanu Reeves, Donnie Brasco with Johnny Depp, The Recruit with Colin Farrell, even The Insider, you can say, with Russell Crowe. This is yet another one, and so join me next week for that one. Here's a shout out to my member, Crushers Games and Movies, if you want to become a member as well. The link is down in the description. Members do have early access to these Pacino reviews as we speak, so if you want to get a sneak peek, if you want to get ahead and support the channel even further, definitely recommend signing up for the membership, and I would really, really appreciate you doing so. Anyway, with all that having been said, stay safe and healthy and keep punching. I will see you next week for Two for the Money. Hooah! Take care.